and leaving the scene. Brandt says he hit the teen after the two of them got into a political argument and thought Ellison was a Republican extremist. Police say Brandt also admitted he had been drinking before the incident. The crash still remains under investigation.
The adoption rate is definitely a lot slower than we were being told.
Moorhead Public Service General Manager Travis Schmidt speaking on the low number of electric vehicles in the city. He says the power utility is preparing for increased EV usage in the region, but for now says they're not impacted by the current numbers in use.
Overall, I think we're in a good spot. It really comes down to where this adoption falls into, in what area of Moorhead it falls.
You can learn more about the number of electric vehicles in Moorhead by going to our website. This is Ty Schoenert with The Flag at AM1100theflag.com. First with the news when you need to know.
The North Dakota Mega Millions jackpot is now at $301 million. Oh, what you could do with that kind of money. Get your tickets now for tonight's drawing. The North Dakota Lottery. Imagine the possibilities.
Your school can earn up to $10,000 this year. Just save the UPCs from the Country Hearth products your family already enjoys. Learn more at loavesforlearning.com. That's loavesforlearning.com.
Hurricane prep in Florida. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Governor Ron DeSantis just declaring a state of emergency for 24 counties for what's still only a tropical depression for now, but the forecast shows it could hit around Florida's Gulf Coast as a major hurricane in the middle of next week.
Pull out all of your emergency supplies. Make sure you have everything that you need on hand. Top things off if you need to. Make sure you're ready to go.
National Hurricane Center Acting Director Jamie Rome echoing the governor's appeal to residents not to wait to prepare. Meantime, Tropical Storm Hermine just named about 290 miles northeast of the Cape Verde Islands. And Hurricane Fiona got stronger, back to a Cat 4 after buffeting Bermuda as it blew by earlier today, now speeding toward Newfoundland, where it's expected to be one of the strongest storms ever to hit Canada after killing at least 8 people in the Caribbean, including hard-hit Puerto Rico. It's day one of 4 days of voting in Russian-occupied parts of Ukraine.
These referendums have been condemned by the Ukrainians and their Western allies, who say President Putin will use the annexation of this territory to garner internal support. The Russian leader facing mounting pressure after announcing the mobilization of 300,000 people to fight in Ukraine. One Russian newspaper believes that number could be closer to 1 million.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Kyiv. Putin's decision to call up reserve forces leading not only to mass protests, but an exodus with long lines of cars at border crossings as Russians flee the country. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre.
We are prepared to impose additional swift and severe economic costs on Russia, along with our allies and partners in response to these actions if they move forward with annexation.
As President Biden released a statement emphasizing again the U.S. will never recognize Ukrainian territory as anything other than part of Ukraine. America is listening to Fox News.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Mostly cloudy and breezy throughout this evening. We'll have wind gusting to 25 miles per hour with a slight chance for a few scattered showers, which will linger into tonight with cloudy skies. Temperatures will drop down to a low near 50, and we'll see gradually decreasing clouds throughout the day of Saturday. Temperatures will peak in the upper 60s with a northwest wind gusting to 30 and windy again on Sunday, although more sunshine with temperatures in the mid-60s. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Today's weather is brought to you by Summit Carbon Solutions. The ethanol industry is critical for the North Dakota economy and our farmers. Summit Carbon Solutions is opening new economic opportunities for ethanol producers and helping maintain a strong market for corn growers while generating millions of dollars in new property taxes to help local communities support our schools and hospitals. Visit summitcarbonsolutions.com to learn how this project is driving the future of agriculture in North Dakota.
Live from the PetroServe USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
How many of you remember this and love America because of this?
My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I still have that dream. And notice that's from 1963. You hear the applause there. In 1963, because Martin Luther King said something very, very simple, very, very true. And one of the things that I love about the United States of America, it's meritocracy. I want to live in a world where we judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Question of the day for you today, and we're going to get into this because of what's happening in Stanley, North Dakota. Are you born a racist, or do you learn to be a racist? Are you born a racist, or do you learn to become a racist? I want to know your point of view on this. And it's very important because of what we're doing to our young kids and creating more and more division in our nation. The number to call into the show, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. It's really shocking when you think that was back in 1963. MLK is at the U.S. Capitol and just makes that simple statement to a huge, huge applause line, because you and I both know in our heart of hearts, deep down in our guts, that's the way it should be. That is a more perfect union. So I bring all this up because, again, I cannot thank you, our audience, enough. You people that tune in every day, you people that care about our kids, the future of this nation, reaching out to me again and sharing with me what's happening here in Stanley, North Dakota. Let me share with you something that came out. John, can you grab that call, please? Let me share with you something that came out. Again, number to call into the show, 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. September 16th, school counseling newsletter in Stanley, North Dakota. Are you born a racist, or do you learn to become a racist? This is for K through 6th graders, okay? So you're talking kindergartners. Minds are malleable. Coming up next week, September 16th, coming up next week. In the next few weeks, our classroom lessons will focus on diversity and racism. We will learn about these two definitions and how important our differences are. Students will learn age-appropriate definitions, and everyone will have a chance to share what makes them different and appreciate their classmates' difference as well, which is fine. If you and I want to celebrate the uniqueness of young people and the God-given gifts that each one of us have been given and how we can utilize those to maximize our greatest purpose in life, awesome. I'm all for that. We don't need to be planting the word racism in the kindergartners. We don't need to be planting the word racism into the minds of kindergartens, because all it does is create more and more division. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from the division in this nation that's dubbed itself the United States of America. And whatever you and I have to do to become united, whether that's a restoration of righteousness in our nation, I'm all for it. Which I think is actually a pretty good idea. How do you and I restore more righteousness in our nation? Ruthie, we are going to get to that. I do want to get to your phone calls as well. Number to call in, please share your point of view, 701-271-1100. Carrie's on line one. Carrie, welcome to the show. What's your point of view?
Yeah, I was just kind of curious. It is interesting about that because my wife and I raised our kids overseas. We worked with an international school, and from the time they were 4 and 5 on up to graduating from high school. And they, as they were growing up, they didn't see color. And so it goes to show that it's something that's taught, not inborn.
Kerry, great phone call. I really, really appreciate that. And he's exactly right. I mean, look, we're all born as these sort of bundles of love. Like, that's what you love when you see little babies. They're just happy. You're born as this bundle of love. You're not born a racist or to see skin color. So the fact that we are now indoctrinating, again, some of you laugh when I talk about, oh, you know what? You just send these kids to like these indoctrination camps when you go into some of these schools. Now, not all of them, but I'm going to say some of them. And keep in mind, we're talking about Stanley, North Dakota. This isn't San Francisco. This is Stanley, North Dakota. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about specifically, so there's these different books they're going to be reading. I'm going to talk about some of the activities in a moment to tell you specifically about what's going to take place. But again, when you think about the purpose of a school, what's the purpose of the school? What's the purpose of our education system? Many people would suggest it's to help our young people understand, get better at reading, writing, and arithmetic, the 3 R's. I've now added an R. I said, you know what, rather than the 3 R's, I think we should now call it, hey, when you go to school, we're going to talk about the 4 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic, and righteousness. I've told you this now many times on the show. It happened to me again last night. I was driving home from the show. I just wanted to chill out, just wanted to listen to some good music. Turned on, because I like R&B and hip hop, turned on one of the stations. I'm like, I can listen to about 10 seconds of this. It's so unrighteous. I can't stand it. And I don't mean to sound like that guy, but it's just like, what's wrong with having a little bit of righteousness back in our lives? And Ruthie here brings up a phenomenal point. Somebody else sent this to me, so I'm going to share something with you. Ruthie says this: when you think about the purpose of our schools, Ruthie says, hey, the latest data for Stanley, straight from the DPI website. This is unbelievable. Think about this. For the next few weeks, they are going to be talking about diversity and racism. What's the purpose of school? Reading, writing, arithmetic, and I'm going to say righteousness as well. Right now in Stanley, North Dakota, they're going to talk about diversity and racism to K through 6th graders. And right now, and according to the DPI website, Department of Public Instruction in North Dakota, for the math in Stanley, 10% are proficient. There are zero advanced students in English. That is our native language, see? Hablan español en Stanley ahora? No sé, porque no vivo en Stanley, pero I mean, what is going on? English proficiency, 20%. 8% are advanced. Ay, caramba. Ay, Dios mío. I mean, this is just, what? Ruthie, this is unbelievable. Proficiency means a student scored 67% in English and 76% in math. That's proficiency these days. Ruthie, great stat. Thank you. So now let me share with you what one of the activities as you go through these books. Oh, I'm showing this. I forgot to say this. So remember the piece where I was sharing with you about how these are indoctrination camps, right? And some of you just chuckle like, oh, Berg, what are you talking about? So the 3rd grade book that they're going to have, it's called Just Ask. And it's all about acceptance and respect and support and, you know, all these really nice, great words. Now, keep in mind, the whole premise of this thing is about kindness. They want to teach kindness, okay? The name of the book is Just Ask. Now, if we're going to play this down the line, it's not going to be an indoctrination nation. It's not going to be an indoctrination camp. You would presume you're going to have books that are kind of straight up authors. At least that's what I would presume. Do you presume the same thing? Guess who the author is of the 3rd grade book, Just Ask? The author of Just Ask, the book used for 3rd graders, the one and only, can I get a drum roll, please? Sonia Sotomayor. Yes, a Supreme Court justice who is uber liberal, appointed by President Barack Hussein Obama, is the author of the book that's going to be used in Stanley, North Dakota for 3rd graders. But hey, 10% of our kids are proficient in math. Let's get to the phone, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. Eric, welcome to the show. What's your point of view?
Hey, Chris, I want to thank you for your show, by the way. You put out a lot of good stuff.
Appreciate that very much.
I don't know if this is possible, but I would enjoy to see it as a Moorhead resident. We have 11 people running for the Moorhead School Board. And again, I don't know if there's enough time, but I would love to have you or Scott or somebody from the flag have a debate. Now, I know that WDAY Midday has been interviewing some of the Moorhead school members, but when you ask them a question about, say, CRT, for example, it's just kind of like, well, I haven't seen it. And it's very dismissed, like it doesn't really exist. But in a platform of a debate with someone such as yourself asking direct questions, then they're forced amongst themselves to actually say, this is what I don't want to see, or I'm for this, or I'm for that, instead of, well, I just haven't come across it. And God, we know it's being taught. So anyway, it's just,
Eric,
it would be a great format, and I would love to hear a debate like that if it's at all possible.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate the phone call. Appreciate the compliments as well, very, very much. And it brings up a really interesting point, because I was going to touch on this. Remember this. What is it? The 5th of November. We're supposed to be teaching CRT in North Dakota schools. They're doing it in Grand Forks. Jim Casper, I texted him this. He's like, Chris, it's rampant everywhere in North Dakota. And I'm curious if you went to Kirsten Baszler or any superintendent or even teachers, counselors, hey, it says here that in the next few weeks you're going to be talking about diversity and racism. Would that be considered CRT? And they'd probably say no. No, that's not CRT. Let's get to the phones here again, 701-271-1100. Thank you so much for the calling in. Thank you for the great input on this topic. It's again, Stanley, North Dakota, this is happening. We actually have a parent coming up in the next segment here that was at the school board meeting. He's going to share his point of view on this. But phone lines, 701-271-1100. Andrew, welcome to the show. What's your point of view?
Hi, Chris. Glad to be on with you. And I think I'm going to use the 4 R's in the conversation very, very, very soon. It's a great point. I'm going to steal that from you.
Thank you.
I can have your.
I only charge licensing fees, so you're good.
No, it's well said, well articulated, and well thought about. So, but I just want to point out that we all know that when we bring our kids to daycare and you drop them off, and there is a cornucopia of colors represented on the playground, it doesn't matter. Kids play with whoever. It does not matter. Racism is taught. Racism is shown, and it has to be pushed in a way that was the very first thing that showed up in the Garden of Eden. If you remember, God created us perfectly, and it wasn't until the knowledge of good and evil, right? Because we ate from not the tree of good and evil. We ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So as soon as we know the difference, that's what pollutes and causes sin. So the minute you point out Black Lives Matter in a sign with the word matter, it's implicit in the fact that not only is it separate from all the other colors, but it's exalted above the other colors, because Black Lives Matter. Those 3 words together on a sign literally is implicit and complicit with the fact that it's racist. Because anytime you separate one from the other, it's not how God sees things. And as soon as you see things the way God does not see them, you lose every time.
Andrew, thanks for the call. We're coming up here, so stay with us. A parent from Stanley is going to join us coming up right after this.
Your farm and business depends on a reliable source for energy. PetroServe USA is the customer-owned co-op committed to being a stable source of fuel for your equipment and propane to dry your grain. We have the capacity to make sure you never run out of fuel and to keep prices stable. Dependability, competitive prices, and exemplary service. That's PetroServe USA, helping America fuel better.
PetroServe USA.
Call today.
Oh.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but actually does something about it. America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now. Get free activation with the code FLAGFAMILY. Switching is easy. Go to patriotmobile.com/flagfamily. patriotmobile.com/flagfamily or call 972-PATRIOT. 972-PATRIOT.
Hankinson Renewable Energy is your partner in renewable energy. They produce over 365,000 gallons of ethanol each day and grind more than 130,000 bushels of corn per day. Hankinson Renewable allows the farmer to sell direct to the end user. Call Jeremy at 701-242-9435 or Braden at 701-242-9440 or visit them online or on your mobile device at hankinsonre.com. And be sure to ask them about their on-farm pickup too. Hankinson Renewable Energy is the solution to marketing your corn.
Been looking for a golf cart for the lake, cabin, or the course? Largest selection of Club Car Onward golf carts within 150 miles is available at All Season Motorsports. 0% financing. That's 0% financing for up to 48 months on 2022 and 23 Club Car golf carts. All inventory must go. Largest selection of club cars at 0% financing. All Season Motorsports off I-94 and Cheyenne Street, West Fargo. Hurry before they're gone.
The University of Mary's Ham School of Engineering, named after Harold Ham, our generous supporter and the pioneer of the Bakken Formation, prepares students for successful careers and fulfilling lives. We offer degrees to support the industry's most pressing needs and designed our curriculum with feedback from the region's most notable firms. The School of Engineering is committed to preparing graduates who are both professionally excellent and community-minded servant leaders. Learn more at umary.edu/engineering.
Exceed your expectations of what makes a great paint or stain with Pittsburgh Paints and Stains from Menards. Now all 11% off with some of the most advanced technology like enhanced UV resistances, dirt shedding protection, and true one-coat coverage paint and primer in one. Finding your perfect paint or stain is easy. Get 11% off everything, including Pittsburgh Paints and Stains, now at Menards. Good through September 25th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Oh, thank you. My man Prince here on a little Feel Good Friday. I don't know if I can say the title of this song here on the show, talking about righteousness, and gotta love me some Prince. Also want to remind you, if you want to email into the show, please do so. It's very easy to do. studio@chrisbergshow.com. Again, studio@chrisbergshow.com. I want to say thank you to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. Up until October 1st, they got this really cool event. We told you before how if you're a blue-collar worker, one of the great things about Red Wing Shoes is that they've got, these customized work boots that are protective just for you and your feet. And they customize them where you can go in right now for it's called the Ultimate Fit Event. And they do this 3D deal of your feet. So, I mean, when you get the boots, they're going to give you these soles for your boot. They're going to fit you better than a glove. And so you can go out there and work hard and let your feet and your legs and everything else feel great when you get home. So go check them out. It's 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Again, 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Say hi to Teresa or just stop at redwingshoes.com. All right, we're asking today, is racism learned or are you just born racist? And what's shocking, I think we all know, it's learned, right? You're not born that way. It's learned. And yet, here in Stanley, North Dakota, for kindergartners, you're talking 5-year-olds, they're going to have this curriculum out there. And it even says, they announced it, hey, join us for the next few weeks. We're going to focus on diversity and racism. I mean, let me ask it a better way. Has there ever been a time in your life, I think I'm going to ask our guest this. One of our parents, he was at the school board meeting. He's from Stanley. Jeff Ware is joining us. He actually emailed me the audio of the school board. And Jeff, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask it for our audience as well so they can all kind of think about this. But think about this for a moment, Jeff. Has there ever been a time in your life when someone's ever communicated or you've heard the word racism and you thought united or unity? Has it ever unified you when you've heard the word racism?
No, absolutely not.
Guys, we don't have his audio. Can we get his audio brought up, Chris? Or if you want to check your audio as well, and we can get a test, guys, that would be fantastic. Jeff, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I got you now, my
Oh,
friend.
good.
So my point is, you hear the word racism. I mean, at least for me, all that does is create divisiveness for me. How about you?
Well, absolutely. There's
So what's
no
that
reason.
point?
Well, there's no reason to be teaching it to 6-year-olds. That's for sure.
So you went to the school board meeting in Stanley. I guess a couple of things. One, when you saw what was going on here, what was your initial reaction to the fact that, because you have a 6-year-old, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
That they were going to be teaching your 6-year-old around racism?
Well, my initial reactions was like, because he's 6, he's in kindergarten. Like, we just got to this point, and I didn't think I'd have to deal with this in kindergarten. First reactions were, no, I'm not going to allow you to fill his head with things that you think are appropriate and that I don't. And I think that's the school's job, is to just teach them, like you said, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And I was told at that meeting that it's much more complicated than that.
What's much more
That's great. That's a great question that they failed to elaborate on, really. You listened to the same audio that I did.
Well, and it just, I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing, but so help me understand here. You go there and say, hey, I just want my kid to go to a good school, have a good time, learn some reading, some writing, and arithmetic. And they're like, no, it's more complicated than that.
Apparently, it's much more complicated than that. It's very complicated. Our kids are no longer the same kids that we were when we were that age. They told me that kids are different. I didn't understand that either. So our kids are different. They're not the same kids. 6-year-olds are all different now.
So share with us. Take us inside the room. All right. I did listen to some of it, and if you want us to play a little bit, we can. But take us inside the room. You go to the school board meeting, and you wanted to find out more about this curriculum. I presume that's going to teach your 6-year-old about racism. For what reason, I have no idea, but is going to teach him about that. What went down in the meeting?
Well, when we all got there, and they went over their budget stuff and their normal board stuff, and then they turned and said, all right, we're going to address why you guys are here. And as soon as we opened up with, we'd like to talk about the diversity and racism training, like they work at a Fortune 500 company or something. They got to go through training for this. And they immediately got defensive. Most of the board got defensive immediately and said, well, no, that's not what it's about. This is about kindness. It's about kindness. And they kept throwing that out there. And last time I checked, you can teach kindness and respect your peers without bringing race or color or how tall someone is or how big someone is. You don't need to bring that into it. You can just say, don't do to somebody what you wouldn't do to yourself, or act like your mom's always watching,
Well, thank you. And I think that's at least what I'm trying to say, not so well here, but there is a book that says, hey, I'm sure you've probably read some of it. It's called the Bible, where it says love never fails, right? I mean, let's focus on.
Yeah. It's been around a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, love your neighbor as yourself, right? Like, why don't we just do that? And then we've got the whole kindness thing solved without me. I mean, what was shocking to me, and again, this is the kindergartner piece where it says activity. It just seems so simple, and maybe I don't know. But anyways, it says here, introduce the word different and ask students for examples of how our classmates are different. And even like I played at the top of the show. I don't know if you heard it yet, but you and I talked about earlier where MLK says, look, I just want to live in a world where my kids can be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Mm-hmm. That was 1963. And here we are in 2022. And Stanley wants to have us focus on skin color.
It seems like a regression to me. Yeah.
Very well said. Very well. So I'm curious, your son, does he, I mean, he's 6, I get it. So maybe he's not fully processing this, but what's been his feedback, or what have been his thoughts as far as what's going on here? Did you talk to him about this, or?
I did. Yeah, I did talk to him about it. After I read the newsletter, and I asked him how many white friends do you have? I don't know. I said, how many brown friends do you have? He said, I don't know. I said, how many friends do you have at school? And he racked off a bunch of names and all this. It's like, he doesn't know what I'm talking about because it's not important to him. So if it's not important to him, then why are we bringing it up and why are we putting it on the front burner? We can just let that go. He doesn't care, so why should we care?
Man, brother, is there any chance that you video recorded that? Because that was beautiful that your 6-year-old said that.
No, I did not.
Dude,
No. I don't put
right?
my children on videos too much.
But don't you think that's beautiful? He's like,
It is.
What are you talking about? Oh, friends? Oh yeah, I got a
Yeah.
gang of those.
Yeah, I got a
Right?
gaggle of those. Yeah, I got those everywhere. No. Well, I think
Uh,
every 6-year-old would say something to that, like to that degree. They just have friends and they have people like to play with. It doesn't
well, I
matter
mean,
if they're what color
sorry,
they
go
are.
ahead. Sir.
Well, it doesn't matter what color they are. They just like to go play. So despite what the board says, 6-year-olds and the 5, 6, and 7-year-olds have not changed at all. They still like to go outside, play with sticks and kick the ball, ride bicycles. They still love to do all those things. Unless you're on the board and you think they don't like to do that anymore.
Kids, they say the darndest things, don't they, Jeff?
Yeah, usually the truth. Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's so beautiful. Here I am trying to sort of frame this conversation in some sort of smart way, and it's so simple. Like, hey, let's just go ask the 6-year-old. Hey,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
what's going
Yeah.
on? So, anything else you feel like we should know about what's going on there? I guess the big question now is, so what can people do to ideally put a stop to this?
Oh, you can go to your school board meetings and you can get petitions going around. Like, don't forget, even in a small town or a large city, the school board works for you and they work for your children. The only person that knows what's best for your children is you. You are the parent. Now, I'm not saying that all parents are perfect, but who knows your child better than you do? So get your petitions, go to your school board meetings, actually listen to what they're saying, uh, look over your kids' material, and if you don't like it, I mean, make your voice heard.
Jeff Ware, again, a parent in Stanley. His son goes to the Stanley School District there that wants to, for some reason, talk about diversity and racism
Yeah.
in the context of kindness.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, we got some people texting me saying, hey, this parent is so powerful. So thank you, Jeff, for stepping up and having this conversation. Because, the one thing that I will share, it's really hard when you're in a smaller town because everyone knows everybody about everything. And so I just appreciate your courage to come on and have this conversation. And hopefully you'll be back and we can talk and continue this conversation. And maybe your little guy will join you at some point. We won't have him on camera.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'll be here and say, Chris, what are you talking about? I just go play with my friends.
Right.
God bless you, Jeff. Appreciate the time, man.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
All right, take care.
You're welcome.
What we'll do is we'll probably put something up where if you want to contact the Stanley School Board and let them know your point of view on, hey, why are we doing this? Why are you planting seeds of racism into these young minds? We all know growing up in an agrarian state, you reap what you sow. I would much rather, you reap what you sow. I'd much rather be, here it is. Thank you, Chris Larson. Super producer Chris has got the names and the emails of the Stanley School Board up there for you. So if you want to watch our live stream, thanks to Cirrus at Fargo, check it out. Coming up, Feel Good Friday.
Mostly cloudy and breezy throughout this evening. We'll have wind gusting to 25 miles per hour with a slight chance for a few scattered showers, which will linger into tonight with cloudy skies. Temperatures will drop down to a low near 50, and we'll see gradually decreasing clouds throughout the day of Saturday. Temperatures will peak in the upper 60s with a northwest wind gusting to 30 and windy again on Sunday, although more sunshine with temperatures in the mid-60s. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Brian Feuder with the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program.
NDSCS's apprenticeship program is really based on the typical apprenticeship models that have been in existence for many years. But currently there are over 1,000 apprenticeable occupations that are recognized by the United States Department of Labor.
Hi, I'm Dixie Bope. I'm the Director of Nursing at Four Seasons Healthcare Center. I encourage other companies to use the NDSCS apprenticeship program. They have a personal relationship with you. They help you out with advertising. They help bringing in new candidates, interviews, getting the word out.
Hi, my name is Pamela Morrow, Project Specialist for NDSCS Apprenticeship. If you're interested in a program, please reach out today by calling 701-231-6927 or go online to ndscs.edu/workforce-affairs and click on the Apprenticeship North Dakota tab.
See if the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program is for you.
Hi,
Lacey here with Precision Concrete Cutters. You've heard our ads about egress windows. They add sunlight, they provide an escape and add value to your home. All true, but I'd like to let you in on a little secret. You can add an egress window anywhere, even if there's no existing window. I know this because at Precision Concrete Cutters, we specialize in egress window installation and replacement. Precision Concrete Cutters, 701-280-7038. That's 280-7038.
High Point Networks helps companies buy and use technology. Your success is our success. From network infrastructure to unified communications, data centers to security, we have the experts to help. Our relationships are built on trust, and the foundation of our solutions is service, here to maximize your company's resources. High Point Networks, always connected.
Hey, it's Scott Hanlon from Flag Family Media. As most of you know, we've recently expanded our facility to welcome WDAY to our location on Thunder Road. For that Showcase Corner studio, we were in search of the perfect desk for our WDAY talent. We met with the designers at Grain Designs, and a beautiful studio came to life. The attention to detail, incredible. They pride themselves in creating furniture both your customers and employees will love. You dream it, they build it. Commercial office desks, conference tables, and more. Start the process today at graindesigns.com. Graindesigns.com.
It's time for tailgating. Brats, wings, burgers, and over 45,000 grocery, meat, produce, bakery, and deli items. You'll find everything you'll need at Cashwise for the big game. Convenient, one-stop shopping, and easy parking too. Remarkably fresh and incredibly friendly employees to serve you at Cashwise. By the way, I'll take another brat and some more of that macaroni salad.
Guess who's coming to West Fargo? Hi, this is Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. Come visit us at our new location at 1224 13th Avenue East in front of Menards. Our growing team provides the quality, integrity, and service that you've come to expect, now with 3 Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo locations. Find us online at fixitforwardautocare.com. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care. After all these years, you're still the one I want whispering in my ear. You're still the one.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. The fastest hour in radio. Whoosh, as we all know, time flies when you're having fun. And today is a Feel Good Friday, thanks to Dakota Medical Foundation and Giving Hearts Day. We love Feel Good Friday because, as we all know, we just had a pretty serious conversation about stuff that's happening in the world today. It's kind of nice to check out and say, oh, yeah, there is hope in the world. Like, there is hope for humanity, that there are people out there that are just doing random acts of kindness. And one of the people that's doing that is Kelly Krenzel. She's the founder of what's called Hope Blooms. And I met her a while ago and just absolutely love her mission, her story. And she's joining us today in studio. And if you get a chance to watch on our live stream, she's got these beautiful flowers around her. So Kelly, it's great to see you. Happy Feel Good Friday.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
So I love your story. If you don't mind just kind of sharing the genesis of Hope Blooms and what inspired you to do it.
Absolutely. So really the beautiful thing behind Hope Blooms is really just recognizing people for their value as a human being. And so really fostering a sense of belonging through a random act of kindness. It's repurposing flowers that are donated and putting them into these bedside bouquets and delivering them to people who wouldn't ordinarily get them just because.
And I will say, one of the things I loved about your story on your website is you said, hey, I had my son and I wanted to show my son what it meant to have a servant heart.
Yes, exactly. I think there's a lot of things you can do. You certainly don't need to found a nonprofit, but so what I hope that we can do even through our work at Hope Blooms is just inspire people to think about kindness in a little bit different way. What's one small thing that we can do today to improve the life of one other person, especially someone we don't know, right? Because you don't know how many points of contact that person has had in a given day. And especially if they're, facing loneliness or isolation. I mean, those are really the core problems that we're trying to solve: isolation, loneliness, feeling like you don't matter or that you're forgotten about, and trying to pull those people in through this beautiful, tangible gift of flowers. But really what it's doing is creating one-on-one connections and building community through these small bouquets.
So how are you doing that? How are you solving the problem of loneliness and people that feel like you don't matter? What do you mean?
Yeah. So what we do is accept these floral donations. And so sometimes in many cases the flowers would be otherwise discarded. So they're from special events like weddings, funerals. We have partnerships with Hornbachers and Cashwise. People give us floral from their personal gardens. So floral that people are willing to donate. And we create these obviously very tangible and beautiful gifts. But really, it's your reason to extend kindness to someone else, right? And so it feels very vulnerable and very sometimes you're uncertain if you're extending kindness to someone and you're not sure what the reaction will be, right? This is the reason to make that approach, right? And just say, you know what? You're awesome. I want you to have a great day. And I want you to know that you matter in a larger context because we believe that that's absolutely essential to our well being as people, like to know that you matter beyond your physical space and yourself. But the larger context of our community. And so we're using that as kind of the really creative way to make those engagements happen because we send volunteers out to make those deliveries and volunteers also make the bouquets. And, there's lots of community that happens in our shop too. So
I love how you frame that because it is vulnerable to like send something out. You don't know how the people are going to react, but you do it anyways. And yet there's someone I know really well too that talked about the power of the unexpected voice of appreciation. Like when for no other reason you're just like, hey, I just want you to know I really appreciate you. And this obviously is a beautiful way to do that. So
absolutely.
if you're just joining us, it's Feel Good Friday, thanks to Dakota Medical Foundation and Giving Hearts Day. With us in studio today, founder of a great program. It's Hope Blooms, Kelly Krenzel. And I love she's talking about, hey, look, this is a way for us to go and plant. We reap what we sow. This is a way to plant seeds of kindness. And I don't know about you, but for me, I think that planting seeds of kindness in today's world is a really, really good and important thing. And so how could people first, I guess, a couple stories, if you don't mind sharing, like who are some people, like how does
Sure.
this work where I just go, hey, I think I know somebody who might be lonely and I want to send them flowers or.
Yeah. So, as in any nonprofit, we have a mission and a core group that we serve. So, the core group that we serve through Hope Blooms is our elderly folks living in assisted living facilities, memory care, different skilled nursing. We've partnered with groups going out on Meals on Wheels to like homebound seniors. So, really taking care of our elderly folks, who've aged out of their home and out of their community in many instances. And Hope Blooms has been around for 6 years. We just celebrated our 6th birthday. So it was prior to the pandemic, but we've been delivering all through the pandemic. So just really trying to engage with that elderly population. You just want to know that your story matters. You want to talk to someone. And this is the reason we can send volunteers in to kind of make that connection, hear a little bit about someone's story. How's their day going? And so that's the core group that we serve. And then from there, we serve other populations in our community that would, just be going through a more difficult time, like community members receiving treatment at our local cancer centers, our emergency shelters for women, different recovery centers, kind of you name it. But those people in our population that just need that little extra love, and they aren't getting these special touches in many cases. And it's the power of this one little bouquet has been transformational. So I know I could probably use all my time up sharing that, but I can give you a specific story if you like.
Please.
So the beauty is we always say that our bouquets end up exactly where they're supposed to go. And it's by the hands of many volunteers that they're created. And so we have these stories that you can't make up. For instance, this gentleman received a bouquet of all yellow roses one time. And the group, we let our volunteers put together what feels good. And if you like it, someone else will like it too. You don't need to be a trained florist. And he happened to get the only bouquet with yellow roses out of 120 bouquets. And it happened to be the the flower that he bought his wife every week that they were married. And she had since passed. So this was an elderly gentleman at an assisted living facility. And he was quite frankly brought to tears. He'd never received flowers. And those flowers, they're the embodiment of love, right? They remind you of someone, or they remind you of a happier time or the joy that's in your heart. And so for him, that reminded him of his wife. And we hear these stories that you absolutely can't make up. And it just proves the beauty in what we're doing. So
sweet.
Yeah.
So kind.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so let's say that I'm like, do I have to know somebody? Like my grandparents, for example, are in Wapaton at assisted living. Could I send them flowers through you or?
Yeah, so we deliver them. So we accept the flower donations and then use volunteers to put them together. And then we have core groups that we serve so it's all the area facilities around here. So right now we're not expanding all the way out to Wapaton, but we serve the Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Dilworth communities. And then when we're able to partner with people who are going to those smaller bedroom communities, we'll provide bouquets to when we can. But so we've got our core group that we work with, about 70 different organizations and or facilities, and then we keep going back. So maybe one facility, eventually we'll hit everybody in that year, but maybe we're delivering 5 different times.
But I mean, for like people listening, if they have a special, like, hey, I know somebody that's here, could they call you and say, hey, can you deliver flowers to these people? Or is that not really how it works?
No, we have our core group that we serve. We wish we
Okay.
could do that, but we are also very, very small and we can't accept one-off requests. And we're not trying to compete with other local florists either. We're delivering in a
Kindness.
sense where other people, like, they wouldn't have access to that, right? In many cases. And so we wish we could do that, but yeah, we can't.
I just think of the butterfly effect. I think of the pebble in the pond. I think
Yeah.
what you're doing is just beautiful. And
Thank
so
you.
how can people support your mission
Yeah.
and spread more random acts of kindness?
Yeah, we believe it's absolutely a ripple of kindness happening in our community, and we see it when people come in our doors. The joy and sheer happiness that people have just even doing the volunteer work, right? So we are very largely volunteer driven. So any volunteer support always, not only with bouquets, but picking up jars, making deliveries, helping us with shop chores, things like that. One of our biggest needs is funding, like any other nonprofit, but we're, dependent on floral donations. And then we're also dependent on monetary donations as well. We're 100% community funded. And we try our best to make every little thing go as far as possible, but we still need resources to continue making this happen in our community. And we're seeing the benefits every day of it. And so for us, funding is really, key. And then we're also hoping, for a magical delivery van someday. So if anybody wants to sponsor a joy mobile, we would love that. So we're all using our personal resources for that and have, for 6 years, but we need a delivery vehicle to pick stuff up and to make deliveries. And seems like something you probably want to get us for Christmas, Chris.
I love that idea. A joy mobile. And you need like some kind of van, or what do you need?
Yeah, like a delivery van. Yeah. Like a Ford Transit,
Yes.
little something or other. Does Ford
And
have
you
to
would just
donate
put
that
like
now? Since I
joy
said that?
mobile around it, or
Yeah. Yeah, it's like literally like joy on wheels.
you know what too I see is like remember oh, it was a great movie, and at the end it had Ark. It was the one where the guy built the Ark, you know the movie I'm talking
Oh,
about?
no.
But at the end it was ARK, and it was just acts of random kindness, and it was all
Right.
about where it'll come to me, it's just not right now 'cause
So
I'm so
I think you'd be surprised to know that through our volunteer works, we've delivered more than 50,000 bouquets since we've started. And that's like partnering with organizations to take them out to rural farms during COVID or
I have to get your website out, please. So it's hopeblooms.org.
Yeah.
Hopeblooms.org. Go there. Great stuff. Support spreading kindness. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back.
Hi, this is Jake Dahl with OnSharp. I'm here with one of our clients, Nell Ticampi of Find Equine. Nell, can you tell us about what the Find Equine app does?
The premise of the app is to give people a place to buy and sell their horses.
How is the experience working with OnSharp?
Without your encouragement, I would not have the app that I have today. You gave me the confidence to push through and actually make this project happen.
Are you happy with how the app turned out?
I'm thrilled with how the app turned out. It exceeded my expectations. I had a vision for it, and it is 10 times better than even the vision that I imagined.
Would you recommend OnSharp to other companies in need of app development?
Oh, 100%. There's a lot of companies out there, but it's really the people that you need to work with that makes or breaks it.
Thank you, Nell. And we highly encourage everyone to check out the Find Equine app. And if your business is in need of custom app development, you can learn more at onsharp.com/apps.
Not scary. This haunted house is boring. Dude, chainsaw murderers are so 1980s. This Halloween, nothing is as scary as a leaky roof right before winter. So get your roof redone as soon as possible before it gives you eternal nightmares.
Visit FargoRoofing.com to schedule your roof replacement today. By the way, dude, you totally scream like your girl.
Fargo Roofing exciting.
The reviews are in. My coffee is a big hit. People absolutely love it. One of our listeners said, Scott, I've sampled a lot of coffee, but this one's different. It's rich, but also very smooth, low acidity. The finish is clean, and it has a pleasant aftertaste. Try some for yourself today. Go to mystore.com. Use the promo code Scott for up to 25% off. Your choices include whole bean, ground, coffee pods, light roast, medium roast, dark roast, and a decaf. Again, in coffee pods, ground, or whole bean, your choice. And guess what? It's roasted and packed right here in the USA. It's guaranteed, like all the products at MyPillow. Mike Lindell invites you to try his new product, My Coffee, by going to mystore.com. Mystore.com. Use the promo code Scott or call this number, 800-506-9028. 800-506-9028 or mystore.com, promo code Scott for the best coffee you've ever had, bar none.
Hey, Chris Berg here. Why don't you know PetroServe USA has got some outstanding car washes, and it's just that time of year. The roads get a little bit slushy and sloppy, and clearly that shows up on your car. Here is some great news for you. On Tuesdays at PetroServe USA, buy one car wash, get the second one free. How great is the word free? Buy one, get one free on Tuesdays for your car wash at PetroServe USA.
Do you remember when it first started? September, love was changing the minds, pretender, while chasing the clouds away.
Whew, I don't know about you, but what a perfect way to wrap up a feel-good Friday. I don't know this artist. I just love this kind of music. And so, John, thank you very much for that. Beautiful, beautiful show. Hopefully you stayed with me through that Feel Good Friday segment. Again, I want to say thank you so much to Hope Blooms. Check them out, hopeblooms.org, and also Dakota Medical Foundation, and of course, Giving Hearts Day. But I'm hoping that you saw the tie-in here. Okay, good. And Tanner's calling. We have Tanner. Please let me know because I want to bring him in. But the tie-in where you hear Kelly talking about, yeah, we just want to go out there and bring kindness to people and kindness. And what were we talking about early in the show? That Stanley, North Dakota is like, well, we're just trying to teach kindness, but we're going to teach it through talking about racism. Like, no, just go love thy neighbor as thyself. Give people flowers, spread joy. I just sat there and I was in my mind chuckling. I hope that you were chuckling along with me as she was sharing all the great things that she's doing here for our community. We're bringing in a very special guest here, and I'm excited to do this because I actually need to clean things up a little bit. I'd mentioned tomorrow we're going to save you some money thanks to PetroServe USA. As you know, we come to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America feel better. As you're out driving around, it's raining out right now, at least where I'm at. Please stop into your local PetroServe USA. You can fill up and then also fill up on some delicious, delicious goodies. So I made a mistake. I got to clean this up. Our friend here is going to help me do that as well. I said, hey, go to PetroServe USA tomorrow. We're going to tell you which one here in a moment, and gas is only going to be so much. I was wrong. It's going to be $1.25 off the current price. So you're still going to be saving a lot of money. I just framed it a little bit differently. And I want to thank this gentleman. He reached out to me via email. I had a chance to speak at a Dakota Medical Foundation event recently. And they said, yeah, reach out to these guys. They want to hear from you. And Tanner took them up on it. So I love people that are proactive. So Tanner Olson, he's a pastor over at Living Hope Baptist Church over in West Fargo. I'm assuming he came up with this great idea to team up with PetroServe USA and help people save some money. So Tanner, welcome to the show. Happy Feel Good Friday.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. So I'm making some assumptions here, but was this your idea here to team up with PetroServe USA and tell people exactly what's happened and what they need to do to save some money?
Yeah, I'll give you the details here. It's actually our 7th time doing a gas buy down here in town. And it's not the first time we've partnered with PetroServe, but PetroServe has been so great to work with, so generous to us. Our church, along with some of our sister churches, put up the first $1 off per gallon, and PetroServe added the extra quarter on top. And so, like you said, we're going to be knocking the price of gas down $1.25 off the normal price, and so the pumps should reflect something around $2.50. I think is about where it'll sit. So people can come from 10 to noon at the PetroServe station across from Sandy's Donuts in West Fargo. That's tomorrow from 10 to noon, and we have people washing windows. We have people airing up tires. We have little gift bags with some information about our church and some other goodies. And we just encourage people to show up.
So talk to me, like, well, why this? Why did you get? I mean, there's a lot of things you guys could do. Why did you choose this?
Yeah, one of the commands that we have as Christians is that we're called to love our neighbors as ourselves. And so I don't know how many times you pull up to the gas station and nobody really likes to buy gas. And a lot of times you pull up to the station and you think, wow, I really wish this price wasn't so high. And so if we want someone to knock down the price for us, we thought, what a great way to, tangibly serve our community and love our neighbors by just taking a little bit of the pinch out of the pocketbook when it comes to filling up tomorrow.
Taking some pinch out of the pocketbook. I'm stealing that one, Tanner. That was good, man. Again, Tanner Olson with us, pastor at Living Hope Baptist Church in West Fargo. Tanner, if you don't mind, can you give out the address one more time where people can go? Again, you can give all the details, but just please say it a couple times so people can hear you and make sure they're there tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's 10 to noon tomorrow at the PetroServe station across from Sandy's Donuts. That's right on the corner of Cheyenne and Main and West Fargo.
Perfect. Again, 10 to noon. Tanner, thank you so much for reaching out, man. I appreciate you doing that very, very much. And have fun tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. You guys can have a good time and have some donuts and wash some windows. And you know what? Just go in and get PetroServe USA cookies. Skip the donuts and get the cookies, okay?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Chris.
All right, Tanner. Appreciate it. Again, Tanner Olson, pastor at Living Hope Baptist Church, teaming up with PetroServe USA, helping you and America fuel better. Again, just so you can go there tomorrow. You know that's going to be crowded, so go there, show up, have some money to go in and get some cookies and some. They got the great 4 for $4 there at PetroServe USA. I mean, it's just you get a pizza, a soda, couple cookies. You get all that for just $4, even under Biden inflation. Even with Biden inflation, it's still only $4. So they're going to be taking $1.25 off the price of a gallon of gas. So you're easily going to save yourself $4 there. You can go and get the 4 for $4. Again, that's tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. It's the PetroServe USA right across. It's on Cheyenne and Main, right across from Sandy's Donuts. So enjoy. If you want to take some pics and maybe email them to us, studio@chrisbergshow.com, studio@chrisbergshow.com. We may be able to put them up on our Facebook page and say thank you to PetroServe USA for, well, how do you say it? Taking a pinch out of your pocketbook? I like that. So, however he said it was great. Thank you so much for joining us here on a Feel Good Friday. John, thanks for the jams. Appreciate that. And we'll be back here Monday at 4, of course, with the latest and greatest news. And please, if you've got something you want us to look into for you, let us know. That's how the Stanley thing came up. So help us help you. Email us, studio@chrisbergshow.com. I love you. Have a great, great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday at 4 p.m.